It was a Thursday night in our Raleigh suburb, the kind of evening where cicadas hummed and porch lights smeared into the twilight. I'd just walked in from the consulting office. I advised small tech startups, steady, unglamorous work. The house smelled like Emily's lavender candle, her usual attempt at ambience. I was exhausted. My tie was loosened and I was ready to collapse. Lately we'd been on edge, little barbs, nothing that felt catastrophic. Or so I told myself. A week earlier we'd been at the supermarket on a routine Saturday. I was steering the cart down the cereal aisle at Harris-Tur, tossing in my usual box of Cheerios. Emily lagged a few steps behind, glued to her phone, thumbs moving fast. I grabbed a box of her granola and held it up. "This the one you like?" I asked. She looked up and made a face like I'd offered her something foul. "God, Matt, can you not block the aisle?" she snapped, loud enough for an older couple nearby to look over. Her tone was sharp, all irritation. "You're always in the way." I raised an eyebrow, trying to keep it light but pointed. "I'm pushing the cart. You're not even touching it." She rolled her eyes and didn't lower her volume. "Just move it along. I don't have all day." The older couple exchanged a glance. I smirked and tossed the granola into the cart. "Sure thing, boss. Wouldn't want to slow down your texting marathon." She huffed and stalked off toward produce. I followed, jaw tight. A public scolding over a shopping cart. Classy. I didn't argue further, but I filed it away. Strike one. A few nights later we were at the dining table, a rare shared dinner. I'd grilled chicken, nothing fancy, just normalcy on a plate. Emily sat across from me, picking at her food while her phone buzzed next to her. I tried to start something casual. "How's that campaign going? The fitness app one?" She didn't look up, just shrugged. "Fine," she said flatly, like I was some annoying colleague. Her phone lit up and she smiled at the message, replying with little laughs and fast thumbs. I leaned back and watched. "Something funny?" I asked, keeping it casual but with an edge. She glanced up and the smile dropped. "Just Claire," she said, setting the phone down but keeping her hand on it. "Work stuff. Work stuff." I nodded slowly. "Must be a real riot over at marketing," I said, and her eyes narrowed. Before she could answer, the phone buzzed again. She snatched it up, face brightening as she typed, and ignored me completely. I took a bite, chewed slowly. "Laughing with Claire, one-word answers to me." Got it. Later that night I was half asleep in the dark bedroom. The only light the glow from her phone. Emily was propped against the headboard, scrolling, a small smile on her lips. I shifted to get comfortable and caught a glimpse of her screen. A chat, not work-related. A guy's name I didn't know. She angled the phone away fast, like she'd been exposed. I said nothing. Closed my eyes. Hiding screens now. Strike two. Then came Thursday. I flipped off the light, and the room fell into black. Emily was already in bed, turned away from me, stiff as a board. I slid under the covers carefully, not wanting to touch her, and tried to breathe normally. Her voice cut the silence, flat and cold. "Matt, could you not breathe down my neck when I'm trying to sleep?" she said without turning, like she was reprimanding a child. I froze, jaw clenching. "My breathing's the problem now?" I kept my voice even but couldn't help a jab. "Got it. Next time I'll sleep in the F-150. Save you from my lungs." She didn't laugh or move. "Don't be so dramatic," she said in that exhausted, condescending tone she'd perfected. "I just want to rest without your sighs, your presence. Is that too much to ask?" I let out a short, humorless chuckle. "Yeah, real reasonable. Especially since you used to crash on my shoulder every night for 3 years. What? Did that warranty expire?" Silence. Heavy and deliberate. She didn't answer and I didn't press. I turned to face the wall, mind racing, inventing fights about my breathing. What next? I blinked too loud. Everything that used to be ours, her head on my chest, late-night movie talks, her stealing my hoodie, had been cataloged into complaints. My breathing, my existence, my being. Morning arrived like a scene we'd rehearsed. No good morning, no shared coffee. Emily was in the kitchen, clattering a plate against the granite, popping bread into the toaster, moving as if I were invisible. I leaned on the fridge with my black coffee, watching. Finally I broke the quiet, calm but pointed. "Do you even know who you're sharing a house with anymore?" I asked, eyebrow raised. She didn't look up from her avocado toast, spreading it with surgical precision. "Oh, I know exactly who," she said, flat but venomous. "Too well." I smirked, nonchalant. "Good to know. I'll make sure to stay out of your spotlight then." She froze, knife suspended, then spread harder. "Maybe if you weren't so suffocating, I wouldn't need space," she said, tone sharp, daring me to respond. I put my mug down and leaned forward. Suffocating, I said, low and edged. Funny, I thought paying the mortgage, fixing the car, and keeping the lights on counted as contributing. My bad. Her eyes flicked up, narrowing. Don't start with that. You know what I mean. Do I? I crossed my arms. Spell it out. What's my crime? Existing too loud, she shot back, slamming the knife down and raising her voice. You're always there, Matt. Always hovering, always taking up space. I just want some peace. I nodded slowly and deliberately. Peace. Got it. I'll make sure my shadow doesn't bother you either. I grabbed my keys and left, walking out on her toast and her attitude. If she wanted space, she was about to get a whole lot of it. That's how our Cold War began. I stayed late at the office, buried in numbers for a client's app launch. She began leaving before I was up. Her car was gone by 6 a.m. Our phones went quiet. Texts dwindled to bought milk or nothing. Dinners turned solitary, she at the counter with her phone, me grabbing a burger at the diner. The bed became no man's land. We each hugged our edge, no accidental elbows, no warmth. We met 6 years earlier at a buddy's barbecue in Durham. Emily was all light then, brown hair catching the sun, her laugh loud and magnetic. She teased me about overcooking a burger. I fired back about her hogging the potato salad. We clicked instantly. Dates at dive bars, her dragging me to art galleries, me teaching her to change a tire. I proposed at Umstead Park, just the two of us, a blanket and some sandwiches. She said yes before I even had the ring out. We bought a house and built a life. I started my consulting business. She climbed the marketing ladder, always on a laptop, always networking. We were a team, until we weren't. Now the house felt like a chessboard, and Emily was playing for checkmate. I wasn't planning to let her win. A couple weeks into our standoff, I was rummaging for batteries in the bathroom, because my electric razor died, and I wasn't going to ask where she kept the spares. Under a heap of her mascara and lip gloss, I found a folded scrap of paper. Curiosity nudged me open. There it was in her neat, loopy handwriting. Bucket list. End of year. Wake up without him. Find myself again. Live and quiet. No hearts, no doodles. Just 3 blunt lines like an agenda for erasing me. I stared at it, pulse steady but mind racing. So I'm the obstacle to her zen. Nice. I didn't rip it up or storm out. I refolded it, slid it back under her makeup, and moved to the living room. The TV was off. I watched her in the kitchen. She was on her phone, laughing softly, voice low and flirty. Oh, stop it, you're too much, she cooed, oblivious to me 10 feet away. I leaned back, jaw tight. Flirting with someone else while I'm right here? Bold. I didn't confront her yet. I observed the way she twirled her hair, how her voice dropped conspiratorially. She wants to live without me. Fine. Let's see how she likes the start of that. I spent the evening intentionally quiet. No offers to make coffee, no questions about her day. When she glanced over, I met her gaze with a neutral face. She frowned like she sensed something off, then went back to her phone. I went into my office and pulled documents. The house deed, truck title, business contracts. Everything that was in my name from before we met. By midnight, I'd assembled a folder. Divorce papers, financials, everything airtight. She wants out. I'll make it easy. The next morning I started packing. Not with theatrics, no slam drawers. I took my toothbrush, razor. I grabbed my toothbrush and deodorant from the bathroom, leaving all of her things untouched, then slipped my spare keys off the hook and into my pocket. Emily came in holding her coffee and froze. What are you doing? She asked, her voice sharp and unsteady. I kept packing, folding a shirt into my bag. Granting your wish, I said, calm but icy. You wanted to wake up without me? I'm making it happen. Her eyes widened and her mug trembled. Matt, stop it, she pleaded, panic edging her tone. You're being ridiculous. I zipped the bag, meeting her stare. Ridiculous? No, you wrote the list. I'm following it. She stepped closer, voice softer. It wasn't like that. It was just a dumb note. I shrugged, slinging the bag over my shoulder. Dumb note, huh? Looked pretty deliberate to me. Don't worry, I'll be out of your hair by tonight. Her face drained color, her mouth opening but no words forming. I walked past her, left the folder on the dining table with a sticky note. Wish number 1 done. The door clicked shut behind me. That night I stayed in a hotel. My phone buzzed with her texts. First, you're really doing this. I tapped back quickly. Not breathing down your neck anymore. Check your list. No reply, but the call started. At first it was petty stuff. Where's my throw blanket? She demanded one evening, voice tight. Hall closet, I said, rifling through a client pitch. Same place it's always been. A pause. You seen my silver hoop earring? Nope, I said, crunching a chip. Maybe it's with your sense of humor. She hung up, I grinned. Keep swinging, I thought. A few days later she left a voicemail, voice shaking, almost desperate. Matt, I think you misunderstood. It wasn't literal. Can we just talk? This can't be how it ends. I listened twice, jaw tight. Not literal, huh? Funny how she wrote it like a contract. I sent back a scanned copy of the divorce papers. Here's where it starts. I texted. She didn't relent. One afternoon she showed up at my office, leaning against my truck, arms crossed, face equal parts defiance and nerves. Matt, come on, she said, softer pleading. We can fix this. I unlocked the truck without averting my eyes. Fix what? I asked coolly. Your list didn't mention fixing. It mentioned leaving. Her mouth opened, then closed. I didn't mean it like that, she said, voice cracking. I was just frustrated. I raised an eyebrow. Frustrated enough to write me out of your life? That's some frustration, Em. She stepped closer, searching my face. I miss you, Matt. Can we just go back? I laughed short and sharp. Back to what? Your cold shoulder, your kitchen tantrums, the part where I'm furniture? I opened the truck door. You wanted to find yourself. Start looking. I drove away, watching her in the rearview. Checkmate. A week later her sister Rachel came by the house. I was grabbing files in my office when the doorbell rang. Rachel stood on the porch holding a box, awkward but determined. Hey Matt, she said hesitantly. I'm here to pick up some of Emily's stuff. I stepped aside. Help yourself. It's all in the guest room. She set the box down and lingered. Look, I know it's not my place, but Emily's a mess. She went too far with that list. She's freaking out. I leaned on the counter, measured. She got what she ordered, Rachel. She wanted quiet. I'm giving her quiet. Rachel ran a hand through her hair. She didn't think you'd actually leave, she sighed. I smirked. Then maybe she should have thought harder before writing me off. Actions have consequences. Rachel didn't argue. She grabbed the box, nodded, and left. I locked the door, my mind clear. That was her problem now, not mine. The drama escalated at Jake and Lisa's dinner party. I almost didn't go, but Jake insisted he could be peacemaker. I arrived early and chatted with Jake as he fussed with the grill. Man, you doing okay? He asked, flipping a burger. Lisa warned me. Emily's been intense. I shrugged over my soda. Intense is one way to put it. I'm just keeping my side clean. He nodded. You're handling it better than most. Respect. Before I could answer, Emily arrived in a tight black dress. All smiles for everyone except me. She worked the room like a pro, laughing with Lisa, hugging Sarah like they were sisters. I stayed by the grill, trying to look unfazed, but I felt her gaze test me across the table as she passed the mashed potatoes. Then she dropped her bomb. Matt's been so busy lately, she said loud enough for the group, sugary yet sharp. I barely see him. It's like I'm single already. The table went still. Jake coughed. Lisa stared. Sarah arched an eyebrow. I set my fork down and let a faint smile cross my face. Public? Let's go, I said. Funny you mention that. I added, voice light but cutting. Last I checked, you're the one bolting out the door at 5 a.m. What's the rush? Got a new bucket list to draft. Her smile faltered, hair toss and forced laugh. Just trying to keep myself sane. She snapped, venomous. Living with someone who's emotionally unavailable. I laughed loud enough to make Sarah jump. Unavailable? I said, leaning back. That's rich coming from the woman who wrote Wake Up Without Him, like it was a New Year's resolution. Jake's eyes widened. Lisa gasped. Sarah leaned in, whispering, Wait, she wrote what? Emily flushed, furious and embarrassed. That was private, she hissed. Then don't leave it where I can find it. I replied, calm but cutting. Or better yet, don't write it. She forced a laugh. Okay, let's not air our laundry, she said, strained. Pass the potatoes. I wouldn't drop it. Nah, you started it, I said evenly. You want to play single? I'll make it official. Sarah snorted. Jake gave me a look, half amused, half uneasy. Emily's smile vanished. She pushed her chair back. I have a headache, she snapped and stormed out. I finished my soda, thanked Jake and left. He pulled me aside and grinned. Dude, you're a savage. She didn't see that coming. I clapped his shoulder. She should have. I'm done playing. A week before mediation, she made one last move. I was at a hotel working on a client proposal when she showed up unannounced, dressed up in a low-cut top with her hair loose, the way I used to like. She leaned in the doorway, voice soft and slightly sultry. Matt, can we talk? She asked, stepping closer. Her perfume hit me. I didn't move, laptop still open. Talk, I said flatly. I'm listening. She sat on the bed edge, legs crossed, voice dropping. I know I messed up, she said, eyes fixed on mine. But I know you, Matt, better than anyone. We can start over. I closed my laptop and raised an eyebrow. You know me? I said. Cool. Funny, your list didn't mention knowing me. It mentioned getting rid of me. She flinched but pressed on, leaning closer. I was stupid. I miss us. Don't you? I laughed sharp. Us? You mean the part where you ignore me for Claire's texts? Or where you publicly humiliate me? Pass. Her face tightened, but she wasn't finished. I talked to Jake, she said, voice sharper. Even he thinks you're overreacting. Everyone does. I leaned forward, cold. Jake's on my side. And everyone? You mean Claire and your sister? Real unbiased jury there. She stood up, voice rising. You're throwing away 6 years, Matt. For what? A piece of paper. I stood too, meeting her eyes. You threw it away first. I'm just cleaning up. She stormed out, the door slamming behind her. Nice try. Mediation was the final showdown. Emily's lawyer pushed for it, probably hoping to guilt me. I arrived with my folder. House deed, truck title, business contracts, all dated before we met. Emily sat across. Her lawyer rehearsed for the sob story. Matt, her lawyer began smoothly. Are you sure you want to end things this way? It's abrupt. I leaned forward, eyes on Emily. Abrupt? I said evenly but hard. She wrote me out of her life on a post-it. I'm just following her lead. Emily twisted her hands. I told you it wasn't like that, she murmured, almost broken. I was just venting. Venting. I repeated flatly. Venting is bitching to Claire over coffee. Writing a list to erase me. That's a plan, Em. Her lawyer cleared his throat. There's no need to escalate. I'm not escalating. I cut in, voice sharp. I'm clarifying. House mine. Truck mine. Business mine. She wanted quiet. I'm giving her quiet. What's the problem? Emily's eyes filled with tears, but I wasn't moved. Matt, please, she trembled. I didn't mean to hurt you. I leaned back, arms crossed. You didn't hurt me, Em. You annoyed me. Big difference. The mediator tried to steer us back, but it was finished. Emily's lawyer didn't press. My documents were airtight. She signed with a shaking hand. I didn't gloat, didn't need to. After the divorce rumors spread, Jake said Emily was telling people I was controlling, cold, unappreciative. I didn't correct it. Let her spin. I had my life back. My house, my truck, quiet mornings without dishes slamming. 2 months later, I ran into her at a downtown coffee shop. She sat alone at a corner table, phone untouched. She looked up, hesitated. Matt, she said quietly. I messed up. I didn't realize what I had. I stirred my coffee, face neutral. You didn't lose me, Em, I said, cold as steel. You crossed me out. I just signed the paper. Her eyes dropped. I'm sorry. Can we try again? She whispered. I took a sip and let the silence hang. You were my number one. Now you're not on any list. I walked out. The bell jingled behind me. My life felt clean and simple again. 6 months on, I found a new rhythm. The firm was growing. I landed a big fintech client last month. Weekends were for hiking again, the thing Emily always mocked. The house is mine now. No lavender candles, just coffee at 6 a.m. I sleep better and breathe easier. Jake and I still grab wings every Friday. And Sam keeps nudging me to try dating. I'm not rushing. Rachel told me Emily moved to Charlotte for a marketing job. Apparently she's finding herself. I don't care enough to ask. My phone is quiet, my morning's calm, and I'm fine. She wanted her list. I gave it to her. Fair trade.